We got a quick injury update video for you today. There are a lot of injuries going around right now that are affecting a lot of fantasy teams out there, so you're going to want to stick around. But before we get into it, if you can hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, it helps us out a ton, and it'll help you out too, so you know when new videos like this go live. Let's get into it. Starting off, we have wide receiver for the LA Chargers, Keenan Allen. He's been ruled out with the hamstring injury. This was expected, being that it's a short week for the Chargers. I didn't think that Keenan Allen would be able to get enough treatment done for him to be able to give it a go and feel comfortable on Thursday. If this was a Sunday game, I could see him having more of a shot of playing, but being that it was a short week, it was expected that Keenan Allen was not going to be available for this matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. But wide receiver Joshua Palmer becomes a viable option in fantasy, as well as tight end Gerald Everett, I believe, will benefit in Keenan Allen's absence as well. Next, we have running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Naji Harris, who's dealing with a Lisfranc injury. He was dealing with this injury prior to the season starting. He re-aggravated it in Sunday's matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. He seems pretty optimistic that he will be available for Sunday's matchup against the New England Patriots, while head coach Mike Tomlin seems to be a little more cautious about his availability. So this is something that you're going to want to monitor going into the weekend. If he's unable to suit up, running back Jaylen Warren would likely handle the bulk of the workload, as well as Benny Snell. So this is something to monitor going into the weekend. Next, we have wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, T. Higgins, who suffered a concussion in Sunday's matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's going to have to make it through concussion protocol in order to be ready for Sunday's matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. If he's unable to suit up, Tyler Boyd becomes a viable fantasy option. Next, we have Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, who underwent surgery on his thumb on Monday. He was expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks originally, but owner Jerry Jones came out and said that he expects him to be back within 4 games. This was shocking to a lot of people given the initial recovery time given of 6 to 8 weeks. So only being 4 weeks, this is definitely worth monitoring over the next couple weeks. Next, we have wide receiver for the New York Giants, Juan Robinson, who's dealing with a knee injury that he suffered in Sunday's matchup against the Tennessee Titans. The Giants came out and said the injury isn't serious, but he could miss some time. In his absence, Sterling Shepard becomes a viable fantasy option, and maybe Kadarius Toney, but he wasn't involved at all in Sunday's matchup against the Tennessee Titans, so I lean towards Sterling Shepard. Last, we have running back for the New Orleans Saints, Alvin Kamara, who is dealing with a rib injury that he suffered in Sunday's matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. Head coach Dennis Allen came out and said Alvin Kamara will be limited throughout this week in practice, and he will likely be limited in Sunday's matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So if you're an Alvin Kamara owner in fantasy, you may want to find another running back to start in his place. But that's going to do it for us today. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, line them up!